welcome back. Well, what do we have here? Okay, all this really is gonna be is just a pizza dough recipe. Homemade pizza dough. And it's really simple, it's just like bread. Now I know not everybody has a scale, but if you're using a scale, it's gonna be these numbers, right? These are in grams. Flour, water, salt, and yeast. But not everybody has a scale, so I'm gonna just use some measuring equipment and we'll do it with, Jesus Christ. So as you can see, it's 1.5 cup flour, a half a cup plus a fourth of a cup water. Does that make sense? No, that doesn't make sense. Oh, I did that a different way. All right, I fixed this. So 1.5 cup flour, 3/4 cup water, 3/4 teaspoon salt, 1/4 teaspoon instant yeast. Make sure it's instant or quick rise. You gotta have that. First, we'll start with the dry ingredients. So we're gonna want 1.5 cups. I'm gonna do 3 of these. It's a little easier to get in the bag. And don't forget a knife. Yeah. Help level off the flour. Boop. Two. And this makes 3. Let's do salt. Make sure it's table salt. So I've got some table salt in here, and we want 3 of these. I'm just gonna use my finger. 1, 2, 3. And then quick rise yeast, instant yeast. Gotta use instant yeast. Boop. So that's it for the dry ingredients. You wanna give it a little stir with your finger, or fingers, I don't know, whatever you wanna do. Just mix it up a bit. So now we need water. I have an instant read thermometer that I use. If you don't have one of these, or if you need one, if you just go to your grocery store, they have usually an aisle that's got a bunch of kitchen crap in it. You can grab one of these thermometers. These work just fine too. See, it looks like it's running a little hot. What's this guy say? There seems to be some discrepancies. This one is pretty old. I guess I'm not sure how accurate it really is. Plus that dial is a little hard to read. But as long as, 90, so we want like half of that, right? So that's good. I need 3/4 cup water. I'm gonna use a half and a 1/4, one of each. One half. And a 1/4. So when we're making dough, I like to use a wooden spoon. This actually the handle of it. It helps keep a lot of the dough off your hands. It can get pretty sticky to start with, but it'll eventually get better. It'll seem pretty shaggy at first, but if you keep working it, it'll get incorporated. At some point, it'll probably be a little easier to switch to your hand. Get a little water on your hand just to help the dough not stick to it. And really that's it for now. What we're going to want to do now is top this off and let it sit for 30 minutes. So it's been about 30 minutes. Just a slightly wet hand when working with dough, and we just want to stretch it and start building some gluten. You can see right away it's already kind of tightening up. I'm just kind of like tucking it under itself and just kind of rolling it out. And it doesn't need much, you need to kind of just start working it. So now that's plenty right there. We're gonna let it sit for another 30 minutes. Come on, get on there. All right, second stretch and fold. Wet hand again. And we're just picking it up and kind of folding it over on itself. You can see it's already getting glossy. And once again, it doesn't take much. Usually I like to do these stretch and folds 3 times, so I could wait a half an hour and do another one. Or I could probably just cover it up, let it sit for 5 hours or so. We just want it to kind of double in size. Okay. So it's been probably about 5 hours or so. Just looking for it to double in size. I think it's actually more than doubled, but we just want to do like an initial proof. And now we're gonna get our hand wet again. We're gonna punch down all the air. One last stretch and fold. What I like to do at this point is actually just try to make it kind of like a ball shape. All right, perfect. Now what I like to do is I like to pop it in the refrigerator and let it sit for at least like 8 hours. A long cold proof in the refrigerator helps it develop a lot of flavor. Otherwise, if you're impatient, you can just use it now. But for the most part, it's basically done. Let this dough get to room temperature for about an hour. In the meantime, let's talk toppings. There's 2 things it pretty much needs to have to be qualifying as pizza. Gotta have cheese, gotta have sauce. Make sure you get pizza sauce. Don't just use pasta sauce, actually find a jar of pizza sauce. Pizza sauce has way more flavor and just tastes better. Your cheese should look like this. It should not be in a bag. Do not buy bagged cheese. Shredded cheese has so many fillers and decaking agents. They mix in with the cheese, so it cuts back on the flavor, and it's just not as good. Grate your own cheese. For pizza, I like to do half mozzarella, half provolone. It is a really, really good mix for cheese for pizza. For the amount of dough we just made, you want to use about 7 or 8 ounces. So half of this cheese will be for the pizza. So if you can find a couple of good blocks at your supermarket. So like I said, I'm going to use about half of each of these. Fourth of July is pretty close, so you might be hearing some fireworks in the background. There's a lot of things I would usually do if I'm not trying to film at the same time. I would have prepped some things, I would have put some cellophane out, I would have washed my hand. I just don't think about all those details. Obviously be careful as you get down to those nubs. Now I know you're already saying to yourself, Tom, I'm just gonna buy a bag of cheese that's shredded, and I'm gonna say, don't do that. Not that I hate cheese in a bag. It's got its place. I mean, sometimes I want like a quick cheese burrito or something, or like a little cheese quesadilla. But if you're serious about pizza, so I guess, yeah, if you don't wanna be serious about pizza, just buy shredded cheese in a bag, you goddamn heathen. All right. Trusty plastic wrap. I'm just gonna wrap this up for now, even though we're gonna be using it any minute now. Don't forget to wrap up spare cheese for the next pizza you make. So we got our dough. It's been sitting outside of the refrigerator for an hour now. It's getting up to room temperature. So basically we just have to put this dough into your circle pan of choice. This is the one I use. It's got a really nice nonstick coating. Most importantly, you just need something that's circular, right? So you can try to make your pizza into the shape of a pizza. So we're going to want to start by putting some oil in the pan. About that much, and that might be too much. Basically we just want to spread the oil around in the pan for the... Now I sucked up too much oil. This is a disaster. Now I'm going to put a little oil back in. I don't know, it should be about a tablespoon of oil, and we want to spread it around. I don't have anything to spread the oil around though. I could use my brush there, but it's probably pretty dirty. I'm just gonna use this. This is just a silicone spatula. This should work. I mean, you could use your hand too. Probably should have just did that. That'll work. Alright, you take your dough. And mine's still a little cool, but we'll get there. I'm gonna come over here, because that's not a great place for dough. Oh yeah, this dough is still way too cold. So, but we're starting the process, because with this homemade dough, it's very elastic. There's a ton of gluten. Between all the gluten and it still being very cold, it's really hard to work. You'll see it's just gonna keep springing right back to a smaller size. So what I like to do is I like to just kind of push it out and then find something to cover this. If you have plastic wrap, you could put plastic wrap over it. Just put a little oil on the plastic wrap so it doesn't stick to the top. Use like a spray of Pam, put it right on top of there. I'm just gonna do this. In that 20 minutes, the dough is gonna actually just kind of settle down. It's gonna warm up a little more and it's gonna relax. So the next time we come back, it's gonna be easier to push out. I turned my oven on like 15 minutes ago to preheat to 425 degrees. That's our target temperature for cooking pizza. And it's roughly been 20 minutes. Maybe it's been 15. So I'm just gonna get my hands a little wet again because it is always helpful when dealing with dough. We're just gonna slowly coax it to the edge of the pan. Trying to keep even thickness. Even touching this dough, it still feels a little cool. It hasn't really gotten up to complete room temperature yet. So I think I'm gonna give it about another 15 minutes. And by then it should be probably pretty perfect. So, but you can see we're already getting closer to the edge of the pan, which is what we want. Be back in like 15 or 20. All right, it's been about 15 minutes. Get some wet hands. And now you'll see that it definitely will hold its shape way better. Oh, baby. Here we go. Looks like the dough is, so you can see like there's certain areas where it kind of seems like it's a little thinner. It's fine, you just push it around. You just push the dough around. You get it to where you need it. This pan is very non-stick, which is one of the reasons I like it. If you are using something that's not very non-stick, you're probably gonna wanna make sure you're very well lubricated, very well oiled underneath. All right, it's just pizza. But yeah, we're pretty much there. Let's send this pig. So, remember, oven's 425. Let's throw some sauce on. Sauce up your pizza, put on the sauce. All right, just, make sure you got a nice even coat of sauce on there. Now we do our cheese. Oh, snap. I like to start by putting a small little base layer of cheese. And then you can start putting your toppings on. This is just some Italian sausage and some leftover pepperonis from the last time I made pizza. It's pizza, you can put whatever the fuck you want on this. Finish it off with the rest of our cheese. So that's pretty much it. So now we're gonna throw this in the oven. 425 degrees. Oh. And I'm gonna set a 7-minute timer and then we'll come back and check on it. All right, timer just went off. It's been 7 minutes. Oh yeah, so we'll just give her a little spin. Maybe come back and check on it in about another 7 or, I'm gonna go for 8. I'm gonna come back in 8 minutes. We'll see how that is. So, it's been 40, well, so we're just a little over 7 minutes. I set it for 8, but I just peeked in there. So that's like 14 minutes, well, 14 and a half minutes. So at this point, you're pretty much done, right? You can take, just to make sure it's good as you're cooking it. You can get like a little spatula, get under there, make sure your crust is brown. It's just fucking pizza, it's done. Put it on a cutting board, chop it up, and fucking put it in your mouth. All right, we're not done yet. Whoa, snap! So we obviously can't end this without getting that pizza money shot. I like to put some freezer paper on my cutting board because this thing's a bitch to clean in this tiny sink. Oh yeah. Pizza. Good pizza. The end. Please like and subscribe. Or don't. I don't give a fuck. It's gonna be good. I'm not gonna take a bite of this. It's fucking hot as hell.